What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nasho. Welcome back to the channel. And today I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions and also breaking down Worlds Collide. Yes, I will be doing that in today's video. Enough talk. Let's get into it. First up, we have Kaylee Ray versus Mia Yim. I'm actually going to be putting my book right next. You know what? I'll just put it right here. Screw it. Anyway, so this rivalry kind of started late, like right around November, like right around Survivor Series season, where we found out that we were gonna have the first ever women's War Games match, and it was actually kind of it was kind of awesome. It was actually kind of awesome watching that match. And originally, Mia Yim was supposed to have been in that match, but because that Dakota Kai took her out of the equation, that did not happen. However, prior to that, we had a ladder match to determine who would get the advantage for War Games. It was down to, I think it was Mia Yim. It was Mia Yim and Io Shirai, and Kaylee Ray had slammed Mia Yim through a ladder, almost destroying her back, and this match is finally coming to pass. From what I know, however, the NXT UK Women's title will not be defended. Honestly, I think it's kind of honestly though, I think they should have they should make Kaylee Ray defend the title, because you have so many there are so many different clash of styles in this matchup. So when you look at someone like Mia Yim, she has the power game, the agility game, and she also has a judo or I think taekwondo. I don't remember. I want to say taekwondo lifestyle. While Kaylee Ray is more technical, more like, more into the mind games, if you will. So honestly, I'm gonna have to go with Kaylee Ray on this one, just because of the fact that Kaylee Ray has been on a huge roll since winning the NXT UK Women's title from Toni Storm back in Cardiff, all the way back in August. So I would not bet against Kaylee Ray. Next up, we actually have a match that is actually a match that I am so invested in. Not invested in, interested. Sorry, DIY Mustache Mountain. And shoutouts to one of my favorite fast food joints, Taco Bell. Shoutouts to them. Not sponsored. I just love their Baja Freezes. They're really good. DIY Mustache Mountain. This is going to be an incredible matchup. Both these tag teams have won the NXT tag team titles before. DIY won them from the Revival back in 2016. Yeah. Was it 20? Yeah, all the way back in 2016 at TakeOver Toronto. Mustache Mountain won at the I think the Empress Ballroom in Blackpool a couple of years ago. It was actually kind of cool. It was kind of cool seeing Mustache Mountain win the NXT tag titles from the Undisputed Era. Unfortunately, they lost them because, I think, was it Tyler Bate or Trent? I want to say it was Trent Seven. If I remember correctly, Trent Seven threw in the towel for Tyler Bate because of the injuries that he sustained. DIY, they've been through so much over the last few years. Obviously, with what happened at TakeOver Chicago in 2017, seeing Ciampa win win the NXT title. Now it's all come full circle, and I never thought I would see DIY coexist again. I mean, the last time that they coexisted, it was at last year's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and they ended up losing in the semis to the team of Ricochet and Aleister Black, and Tommaso Ciampa almost pulled the double whammy. I can't even speak. I'm not so sure if we'll be seeing that again this Saturday at Worlds Collide, but who knows? Honestly, this is going to be a very great matchup. I cannot decide. This is going to be one that I am not going to decide on. Next up, we actually have a fatal 4-way match for the NXT Cruiserweight title. Unfortunately, there are only 2 superstars on the card right now. We have the champion, Angel Garza, and one of the challengers, also from NXT, is Isaiah Swerve Scott. Now, tomorrow, so at the time of this being recorded and posted, which will be on the same day, Wednesday, the usual, tomorrow on NXT UK, we're going to have two other number one contender matches. The first one will be Jordan Devlin versus Ligero, and then Travis Banks versus the Brian Kendrick. I don't know how the hell Kendrick got into that match, but it's gonna happen. So honestly though, I can't really go into deep in depth with this match. The only thing that I can tell you is that Garza and Scott are gonna be the 2 odds-on favorites to win that match. But honestly, it really wouldn't matter anyway. I'm gonna stick with Angel Garza. It's gonna be a very intriguing matchup, and I spoke about that, and I spoke about this match. What was it, last week or I think Monday? I want to say Friday. This past Friday. I talked about Angel Garza just a little bit, and again, I think he could very well be one of the odds-on favorites to win it. So you never know. Next up, we have Finn Balor versus Ilya Dragunov. This is gonna be probably one of the most intense matches ever, because Finn Balor and Dragunov are 2 of the most intense superstars in their brand. So obviously Dragunov over on NXT UK, Finn Balor back in NXT for the first time in years. Honestly though, again, I said it before, I'll say it again, seeing Finn Balor back on NXT was a really excellent idea for WWE to utilize Finn Balor, because when he was on the main roster, he was used really well, really well, especially in the early years, where especially in the early years after he was after the brand extension draft at that time. Finn Balor did win the WWE Universal title, became the first champion, had to relinquish it the next night due to an injury, came back the night after WrestleMania. He actually did pretty well that year. 2018 had one hell of a year. 2019 ended up being his year, the first half of it anyway. He won the title three times. Lost the title to Shinsuke Nakamura at Extreme Rules. Now he's back on NXT. I'm curious to know how Finn Balor is going to make 2020 his year. Honestly though, both these guys high flying, high flyers. Finn Balor has they're both power game based. They're both quick on their feet, but I think Dragunov is more mat based. If you really look at his wrestling style, he's more of a mat based mat-based superstar than Finn Balor is. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I'm curious, but I'm actually this is another match that I am so interested in. But I'm gonna have to go with Finn Balor on this one, only because of the fact that he's been doing this way longer than Ilya Dragunov. So that's who I'm going with. Next up, we have a match that is over a year in the making. Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm, this time for the NXT Women's Championship, not for the UK title. So Ripley and Storm, they were this whole thing started when the NXT UK Women's title was first introduced in right around 2018, like not 18, was it 2018? Yeah. So right around 2018, when this whole thing started, and Rhea Ripley became the first ever NXT UK Women's Champion by actually defeating Toni Storm when Storm had threw her back out during that match. She came back. I think she came back, I would say about a month or two later, and ended up challenging Rhea Ripley for the title at last year's TakeOver Blackpool, which that match was a 5-star match. That match took the show. That match stole the show. Toni Storm ended up winning the title from Ripley. Now, again, going back with what I said with Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray ended up defeating Storm for the title after she had won a Battle Royal at the Download Festival last year. Now it's all come full circle between these two women. I mean, Toni Storm now, the Toni Storm that we've seen since her return, I'm not so sure if I like this Toni Storm, but at the same time, Toni Storm has been really dominant, since coming to WWE, and this is gonna be a very interesting matchup. But you know what? Honestly though, anything can happen at any given moment, and I am super curious to know how this is gonna play out. Just like with all the other matches, I'm curious to know how it'll play out. But honestly though, there's no way in hell that WWE will force Rhea Ripley to drop the title after she had just recently won it like a month ago. So Rhea Ripley all the way. Now we move on into a match that I believe will be the main event. This is one that everybody has been buzzing about on social media, and unfortunately I cannot get to my damn Twitter. I don't know why. I cannot get to my fucking Twitter. I honestly don't know why, but anyway, it is the Undisputed Era versus Imperium. This is going to be by far the most hellacious match ever. This is going to... Oh my god. This is going to absolutely just explode. And the funny thing is, in my opinion, if you really think about it, Imperium was the one that kind of started the war between the two factions. Right around Survivor Series season. Now, and obviously too, if you guys remember, at TakeOver Blackpool, Walter had just defeated Joe Coffey to retain the WWE the WWE UK title, and who shows up? None other than the Undisputed Era. Undisputed Era came in and just completely decimated Imperium, and now this Saturday it is going to explode. This is going to be a very interesting matchup because Undisputed Era, you know, yes, they have traveled. Yes, they may have, they may have traveled the world and honed their crafts in other promotions, but Imperium, they've honed their craft for literally for years. For like 15, 20, 15, 20 years. And Walter is the base of all the members of Imperium. This is going to be, in my opinion, this match, aside from DIY against Mustache Mountain, this could very may well be the match that steals the damn show, because you have Imperium, who has all the tools. You have the power and submission base of Walter. You have the technical prowess of Marcel Barthel. You have the agile, high flying abilities of Fabian Eichner, but you also have the map base and unpredictability, if you will, of Alexander Wolf. And if you look at Imperium, it's mostly map base, agility, high flying. That's what it's mostly about with the Undisputed Era. But the only member of the Undisputed Era that knows their way around the ropes is Bobby Fish, because he's the one that's traveled the world longer than any of the other members combined. So when you think about it, who wins? The answer, my opinion, I'm gonna have to say Imperium. They've been so dominant since they formed last year. I can't wait to see what happens in this matchup. And with that being said, that is actually going to do it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below who you guys think is going to win between the UE and Imperium. Let me know in the comments who you guys think is going to win. And if you guys enjoyed this video, smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. Because this year, because I said it before, I will say it again, this year will be my year. It will be my year, the year that this channel will excel. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links will be down in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail that you want to send me, letters, cards that you want me to sign and send back to you, because I want to hear from you guys. My address will be at the top of the description below. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.